My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey, welcome back everybody. Today, zooming in from Colombia, we have Jacobo Hernandez, who is a very accomplished real estate entrepreneur, especially in the short-term rental space. And Jacob built up a very successful business in Amazon. Then he applied those techniques to real estate and has built up a very significant business and portfolio in short-term rentals. So, Jacob, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dave. It's a pleasure.
All right, give us a snapshot. You're in Colombia right now. Give us a snapshot. What does your real estate business look like? Are you, where are these properties? Are they all in the States? Are they all in South America? Are they all over the world? Kind of give us a snapshot.
Yeah. So we're working on a boutique hotel here in Medellin, but primarily all my business has been in South Florida. I recently sold all those properties to a private equity fund. But we operated, it was 6-bedroom plus waterfront properties with a pool. That was our niche. And we went for luxury, high-end, converting the garages into game room, adding a beach, adding a volleyball court, all the amenities, sauna, steam room, everything. So we were fully decked out and standing out.
Very cool. But now you're making the switch over to boutique hotels. Is that what I'm understanding?
That's correct. I'm going commercial because of a couple reasons.
Yeah. Let us know why.
The residential space, you can't force appreciation. So values are not based on NOI. Yeah. So we were wanting to sell our portfolio. It was hard to get a buyer to actually pay above what the neighbor's property is worth, because banks will come and evaluate your property based on comps.
Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest hurdles. The next hurdle, short-term rental regulations. They're only getting worse everywhere. We're seeing this as a trend. They're not getting friendlier. So those two big reasons were the reason we decided to switch to boutique hotels. We have a hotel license and we can force appreciation. So our value is based on our net operating income. That way, if we're operating well, we're getting consistent profits, then our properties are going to be appreciating in value. So that's what made me do the switch.
That makes a lot of sense, Jacob. Yeah, because I've interviewed a bunch of people over the last while all across North America. Yeah, the crackdown on short-term rentals is a real pain in the butt. And like you said, the challenge is you want to sell your portfolio. It's based on comps. It's not based on the performance of the business so much. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I was always kind of wondering when the shoe was going to drop on short-term rentals, when the hotels were going to start kicking up such a storm for losing much business to short-term rentals that they try to shut it down. And it's starting to happen. So you got smart. You figured out what's going on. So if you can't beat them, join them, start your own hotels.
Join them and just operate better than them, because they're slow. They're slow on the marketing. And if you're operating as a boutique, you're applying the same marketing principles and you're applying the same lean operations. So self-check-in and all the other stuff, then you can be really profitable. So
yeah, all the stuff that you learn through short-term rentals, you're applying it to these boutique hotels. So do you have some up and running, or are you just getting your first one going at the moment?
We're getting the first one. It's under construction, and we're looking at acquiring our next one pretty soon here in the States. So we're very actively on the search for good deals. So
very cool. Yeah, I was just interviewing another gentleman probably a month and a half ago. Does the same thing in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So beautiful thing is he finds these old properties, historic type properties, and converts them into boutique hotels and does the same idea that you're doing. So you're building one from the ground up. Walk us through what that one's going to look like, what it's going to be like.
So we're looking at unique properties only, just like we did in the Airbnb space. We identified a niche, which was big properties, 6-bedroom plus.
Yeah.
They had to have a pool and they had to be waterfront. That put us in the top 1% of listings. And that way our occupancy was always 90% plus. So when you're buying these assets, you got to buy right location, but also the asset type. So right now, applying principles. unique property. It has to be either historic or unique architecture. And we're looking at near a national park in a really good location. We're looking at something that maybe has a lake, some type of water feature. So we're trying to stay unique, and we don't want to be just your normal motel converted to boutique. Like, we really want to make sure that there's something unique about it. And if we can't find that unique aspect, we're not acquiring it. So we'd rather have a smaller portfolio than rush into an acquisition.
So the one that you're building out right now in Medellin, walk me through it. What is that one going to look like?
So that's a hostel, and it's called Provenza. It's the best part of town. It's actually within walking distance to all the best bars and restaurants. And what we're going to be doing there is we're actually this is a unique play because we're converting it to back to an Airbnb, but we're commercial zoned. And the reason for this is because we identified in this specific market that we could convert it back to use it for bachelor parties, so big groups. And that way, we're not competing against hotels, which are single rooms, but at the same time, we're not regulated by short-term rental regulations because we have a hotel license. So it's kind of a unique play. Again, in each market, we're looking for where the blue ocean is. We don't want to be in the red ocean. So if we identify that single unit mix type is too crowded, then we might look at multi-unit or apartment styles. But again, we're trying to get that hotel license because we're seeing regulations everywhere. Here in Colombia, they're cracking down hard.
Really?
Barcelona,
I was going to ask you that because I was thinking,
yeah,
my experience with Latin America, I lived in Costa Rica for 10 years, is that it can be a little bit more loosey-goosey, but I guess maybe not so much anymore.
no, the residents are complaining. They're because the people that actually live in the town, they're having to move somewhere else because Airbnb is just driving the prices up so much. And then you have people coming down and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and that's causing regulations to be enforced.
Yeah. What do you notice as being the biggest differences between doing business in Colombia versus Florida?
Definitely agreements and contracts. In the US, people really go by that. In Colombia, it's
Not
a
so
lot
much.
harder. Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely it's a way different world. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got the advantage, my friend, that you speak the language. You're from there originally. You definitely got a head start on everybody else. I remember when I went to Costa Rica, I started a company down there myself, but I was young and dumb and broke, and that was a big advantage. I spoke some Spanish, but I didn't have very much money, so I couldn't really get ripped off. And I'd see all these other Canadians come down there with, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, trying to start something up, and boom, within a year and a half, they were broke because they got completely raked over the
Yeah.
coals, right? So
The
yeah,
rules are different.
yeah, most definitely. Awesome. So you're looking at different properties, unique properties. You're going to focus any particular area in the States? You're going to go back and focus on Florida, or what are you looking at next?
Florida worries me a little bit with all this hurricane stuff and the insurance prices going
Yeah,
up the roof.
yeah.
I love the market. I'm worried about the insurance. So we're looking at South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas. We got a couple states that we identify that we really like. And we've run the research. So we're looking at saturation index. So we're looking at a lot of metrics, but seasonality being one,
Yeah.
saturation being another one. So we're looking at the number of listings versus the number of yearly visitors to that area. And that gives us an index of how saturated that area is. And we're looking to stay in areas that are maybe not so saturated already. Like I said, we're very data driven. But yeah, we're sticking to a couple different markets that seem to make sense right now.
Very, very cool. What were some of the biggest things that you took from your Amazon days over into real estate?
Yeah, that's what helped me the most, specifically for Airbnb ranking. The parallels between the Amazon algorithm and Airbnb are just so similar. And if you know how to talk to the algorithm will reward you. So we've figured out ways to basically keep our properties on the top of page one. So when you search, say, Miami, we're going to be there, number one. And if you have the visibility, you get the booking. So It's not always the best property. People think they go and launch their property and all they do is just put some photos up and they expect to get bookings immediately. You might have a really nice property, but if you don't have the visibility and you don't know how to rank in the Airbnb platform, you're not going to be able to compete. So we have different metrics that we used to optimize on Amazon. The first one was the click-through rate. And the click-through rate, you have 3 levers that you can pull in order to make a difference, right? So when people search on Airbnb, what's the 3 things they see? Your main image, your price, and your title. So you need to optimize those because that's what people see. Some people have random titles. You need to have your keywords and the most important things. Jacuzzi, heated pool, have your amenities listed, right? Your price, you need to be competitive. If you have pricing is not where the market's at, you're not going to get booked. And then your main image, that's the most important. So if all your competitors are showing, say, a bright photo of an early sunrise, well, you're going to have a sunset, right? Because you want to stand out from everybody else. When people are scrolling, they're going to be seeing 50 different properties on page 1, right? So you need to make sure that yours stands out. And we'll add some Photoshop. We'll add some floats in the pool. We'll Photoshop the jacuzzi to be bubbling up. We'll add a little logo that says top spot. We have all these little tips and tricks that catches people right on. And then that's the second step is secondary images need to be on point. So people will usually just set them up in a random order. And then you see people that have 10 images of the kitchen. 1, 2, 3, just you're showing the kitchen and it's like 2 minutes, your kitchen. Like people are going to get bored. So you need to think of this as you're telling a story. You're taking them through your full house. You're showing them the best aspects about your place and trying to get them to click. Once they click through your listing, the second ranking metric that Airbnb takes into account. So the first one we said click-through rate. You want to get the most clicks from everybody else. So if Airbnb sees people are clicking through your listing versus the other, it's going to push you up in the rankings. Next, time on listing. How much time are people spending on your listing? And if it's a lot of time, Airbnb likes that. It means people are interested. The way to do that is to have good secondary images, but also we have a little trick. We add a QR code that people scan, takes them to a YouTube video of our property. So while people are on YouTube watching the video, they're still on your listing, right? It's 5 minutes.
Yeah, Airbnb still
listing.
thinks that they're looking at your listing on their platform.
You're looking at your listing, right?
Yeah.
And you need to have a long description with FAQs. Keep them in there. Keep them engaged. Keep them on your listing. We also add social proof. So in our secondary images, we'll add a screenshot. Oops, this AI stuff. We'll add a screenshot of some of our reviews, so people are reading our reviews inside of our listing, right? So there's plenty of tricks to improve that time on listing. Wish list additions is another big thing. It's think of it like Instagram. The more people like your photo, the more it's going to show it to other people. So wish list is shows Airbnb that there's an intent in the future to book. So there's plenty of ways to also boost this, and we use influencers when we launch. We'll have micro influencers stay at
the new hotel,
and they'll run a test with. Sorry,
you're gonna have micro influencers stay at the new boutique hotel when you open it up.
Right. We're gonna apply the same exact strategies. So those are like the ranking metrics applied to Airbnb that we're gonna use as well for the boutique hotel space, and we know it's gonna crush.
Awesome. Well, that's really, really smart, Jacob. Fantastic. If people want to connect with you and find out more, especially if they're planning on traveling to Colombia anytime soon, where should they go?
Thanks for having me, Dave.
So if people want to connect with you, where should they go, Jacob?
Yeah, we can find us at freedomvestcapital.com. And we actually just launched an ebook all about short-term rental secrets, where we go even deeper into everything we just talked about, revenue management, ranking strategies. So if you want to go there, find it. It's freedomvestcapital.com/STR secrets.
Awesome. Well, good luck with the launch of the new boutique hotel. I'm sure it's going to go really, really well.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you so much for having me, man.
All right, everybody, take care. See you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.